Welcome back to the Operation Freedom YouTube channel. What we do here is shine the light of truth on the deep state. They hate that. We do it figuratively with our presentations. We do it literally with our sponsor's product, PatriotLegacy.com. PatriotLegacy.com, featured product of theirs, the Patriot Beacon. 6 overall lighting functions. In addition, solar powered, don't need batteries. You can charge your other devices like your phone from it. In addition, you got a compass, you got a window breaking hammer, and you got a seatbelt cutter. Plus, if those deep state dweebs get just a little bit too close to you, blast them with this. They're gone. Go to patrioticlegacy.com, patrioticlegacy.com. Get yourself, your kids, your grandkids, your car. Can carry it with you anytime. patrioticlegacy.com, the Patriot Beacon. And in fact, as was pointed out in the motion to response to the motion to compel, the government is claiming we don't have the original 302 form that was filled out. We don't have that. Penalty flag, BS. They have a system, an electronic system that everything goes in. You can't lose it. They don't want anybody to see it. But it gets worse from there. And Barbara talked about this, Barbara Flynn Redgate, but we're going to get a little bit, we'll get to that in a second. In this reply, in this motion to compel, I want to read a couple things that Sidney Powell and her team wrote, because this is really important, that the fake media, mainstream, lamestream won't touch. It is disingenuous to suggest that the proffer sessions were not adversarial when the government had permission to target Mr. Flynn, seized all his electronic devices, targeted his son, and seized his son's devices. The government fails to mention that to obtain the plea, it threatened Mr. Flynn with indictment the next day. The indictment of his son, who had a new baby, promised him the, quote, Manafort treatment, the old solitary confinement thing. Yeah, right. And promised to pile on charges sufficient to put him in prison the rest of his life. The short fuse was no doubt motivated by the government's knowledge, which it did not disclose to Flynn, that the salacious Strzok page emails disclosing their vitriolic hatred of President Trump and his team, the key agent's affair, and their termination from Mueller's special counsel operation were going to be exposed the very next day, which is why they were hammering General Flynn to cop the plea on the day he did. No individual, no matter how innocent, can withstand such pressure, particularly when represented by conflicted defense counsel. The advice a client is given by his lawyer in such fraught circumstances can make all the difference between standing his ground or caving to the immense pressure. Mr. Flynn caved not because he is guilty, but because of the government's failure to put its cards on the table, as Brady requires. Exculpatory evidence, and its failure to ensure that Mr. Flynn was represented by unconflicted counsel when he was forced to make that decision. In conclusion, yes, the government engaged in conduct so shocking to the conscience and so inimical to our system of justice that it requires the dismissal of the charges for outrageous government conduct. You see, folks, when you start digging, so the whole predicate to convict, to pile charges on General Flynn was the fact that he lied to the FBI. Yet Strzok and Patinka said that, well, we don't think he lied. No, we don't think he lied. Well, add to that remember, they had to turn in their forms by January 29th. They didn't. There's not just one 302. There's like 5 if you include the one that's missing. They filed one on February 10th, February 11th, February 14th, February 15th. And every time it changed and edits were made. And who was doing the edits? Right. That would be Lisa Page, who was not present during the conversation with General Flynn, and McCabe, who was also not present. And remember, Comey has testified that, well, they wanted to ambush Flynn, and, well, they sent a team over there on January 24th, knowing full well the counsel wouldn't be aware, he wouldn't get good advice, and they could ambush him. Ambush. It was a setup. The agents even stated that they felt that General Flynn didn't lie. Yet when you read that final 302, it essentially says he did. Why was that? Because it was edited by McCabe and Lisa Page. This again from the conservative treehouse. The Department of Justice never confirmed the authorship of the FBI notes, which are central to the 302 forms, upon which the entire prosecution claim of Flynn lying to investigators is based. What? The entire FBI case against General Flynn, meaning the central element that he lied to the FBI investigators, and he did not, is predicated on the 302 interview reports generated by two FBI agents later discovered to have been edited, shaped, and approved by McCabe and Lisa Page. And for almost 2 years, the entire outline of their documented evidence has been misattributed. Well, how do we know that? Because after the prosecution filed their reply, Sidney Powell had a chance to address what the prosecutor said. Well, and in Sidney Powell's reply, she said, wait a minute. You know, we question these 302s. We question the notes. We question, you're saying Strzok authored these notes and Patinka ordered these notes. We don't think that's the case. And then on November 5th, this came out. Department of Justice makes jaw-dropping admission in Flynn case. The prosecution mistakenly attributed the wrong notes to the wrong FBI agents. Yeah, those would be the notes that the prosecution of General Flynn is completely dependent upon. Right. Prosecutor Brandon Van Grack, this from Treehouse, sent a letter to Flynn's defense team today containing a stunning, almost impossible to comprehend admission of a mistake central to the claims of the prosecution. In March 2018, the FBI presented notes taken by agents Patinka and Strzok. Now they say they made a mistake, a big one. For almost 2 years, the Department of Justice misidentified, misattributed, and never corrected that the authors of the Flynn interview notes were actually reversed. All the notes attributed to FBI agent Peter Strzok actually were taken by FBI agent Patinka, and vice versa, which led Sidney to tweet the following. So let me get this straight. Van Grack, the prosecutor, de jure now that Curtis is gone, has given us false or wrong information in a federal court proceeding for 18 months. But General Flynn is supposed to be a felon for a made-up false statement from an ambush interview which the FBI had no legal basis to conduct. Larry Johnson, a former Intel guy, did a dissection of this. And he lays it all on the line. And here's what he states. The real problem for the government's fraudulent case against Flynn are those 302s. There should be only one 302, as I mentioned, not at least 4 versions. The FBI protocol is they enter the 302 into the FBI Sentinel system within 5 days of the interview. In other words, the original 302 should have been put on the record on January 29, 2017. But that original 302 is missing. The prosecutors claim they cannot find it, as I mentioned. But the prosecutors finally did provide the defense, after repeated requests, multiple copies of the 302s. They're dated February 10th, February 11th, February 14th, and February 15th, 2017. 5 different versions. What the heck? This alone is prima facie evidence that something very crooked was afoot. In the final 302, dated February 15, 2017, painted General Flynn in the worst possible light. The facts of this 302 are not supported by the notes taken by agents Strzok and Patinka. That's right, because they were edited, manipulated by people that were not present. Lisa Page and Andrew McCabe. Yeah, the Andrew McCabe that the Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz recommended prosecution for lying at least 3 and possibly 4 times under oath. The conclusion is simple. The FBI fabricated a case against General Flynn. Yeah, it was all a setup. It was all a setup. Just as the Ukraine hoax was. Look at this. People need to stop calling this guy a whistleblower in this Ukraine issue. Whistleblowers are Bill Binney, Kirk Wiebe, Montgomery, Assange. But this person is a gossip blower. No firsthand information. Now Schiff doesn't even won't allow the Republicans to call this gossip blower in as a witness in this impeachment goat rodeo. But just as the Russian collusion hoax came crashing down on the deep state, so will the Ukraine hoax. And it was evident from the very beginning. It was all a setup. And it was actually been in play not a month, not 2 months, but years. Why do I say that? Because some tweets have become available from this Mark Zed, the attorney for the gossip blower. This from Zero Hedge. The Democratic operative attorney representing the anti-Trump gossip blower vowed to, quote, get rid of Trump as early as July 1st, 2017, and said the, quote, coup has started, end quote, on January 30th, 2017, about, 10 days after President Trump was inaugurated? Mark Zed, the John Podesta, Clinton, and Schumer-linked attorney who founded the anti-Trump nonprofit, quote, whistleblower aid, in 2017 quoted, quote, ready for this? It's very scary. We will get rid of him, and this country is strong enough to survive even him and his supporters. We have to, end quote. July 1st, 2017. He also tweeted the, quote, coup has started after former Assistant Attorney General Sally Yates under Obama was fired for refusing to enforce the legal order from President Trump. Quote, Mark Zed, January 30th, 2017, quote, the coup has started. Zed describes himself as a nonpartisan attorney, quote, handling cases involving national security, security clearances, government investigations, media, Freedom of Information Act, and whistleblowing. This is according to Breitbart's Aaron Klein, who noted that Zed's whistleblower aid organization is heavily tied to far-left activist organizations and democratic policies and globalist policies. Zed also is founder and director of the James Madison Project, which still lists Democratic operative John Podesta as a member of its board in a hidden area on the website. Reportedly, the Zed character also goes around Washington bragging that he's helped many people get security clearances that have had troubles with, quote, porn issues, end quote. It was all a setup. Whether it was President Trump or General Flynn. And I truly believe that if it was not for General Flynn and his family standing their ground, and if it was not for Sidney Powell going to bat for General Flynn, our country would be in far worse shape today and for the future. I ask you to take the time to listen to the interview with Barbara Flynn Redgate. Hopefully, you will consider a donation to the Mike Flynn Defense Fund. The link is listed. I'm not a big one for defense funds, but I am on this one. I've donated myself. I will continue to donate. Why? Because it is about the persecution of an innocent patriot, General Michael Flynn. But it's also about the persecution of the rule of law in our country and the future of our country. It's about all of us. I thank you for your time. I hope you'll join us for the radio show live every Sunday, 2 to 5 Eastern. You can stream it at davejanda.com, as I mentioned earlier. I hope you'll become a member of our Freedom family. Look, without our subscribers, this YouTube channel, it's gone. Without our subscribers, the radio show is gone. Without our subscribers, the website's gone. I believe we provide a very valuable service by bringing the people we bring forward and the analysis we bring forward to you. In order to do that, we have to spend a lot of money to protect our platform. Many thousands of dollars a month go into the protection of the platform so we can keep delivering the message. Nothing in life is free. Nothing. I hope you'll find it in your heart to support what we do. Thank you for your time. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail.